The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. I'm your co-host, Cade. That is your co-host, Metro, and today we're talking about the NFL Power Rankings post the 2025 NFL Draft. Heading into the season, where will these teams be ranked? Who's moving up? Who's moving down, of course? It's going to be a full, fun episode. Metro, how are you doing today?
Doing great. NFL Draft was fantastic. We're doing our power rankings today, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, these are all subject to change as time does go on. We get more reports. We will change these rankings, but these are just for the now.
That's right. That's exactly right. So we're going to go 8 at a time today because we don't want to just throw it all at y'all. It's too much information. We're going to go 8 at a time, starting at the bottom. We'll go Metro's teams and then my teams. Metro, do you want to start from 32 all the way to 25? Who is on your list?
All right, I will go first. At number 32, I have the Cleveland Browns. 31, the New Orleans Saints. 30, the Tennessee Titans. 29, the New York Giants. 28, the New England Patriots. 27, the Jacksonville Jaguars. 26, Carolina Panthers. And 25, the Indianapolis Colts.
Very nice. And then for me, at 32, I have the Saints. At 31, I have the Dolphins. At 30, I have the Browns. 29, I have the Colts. 29, I have the Colts. 28, I have the Jets. 27, the Cowboys, which we're going to have a disagreement on. And then 26, the Tennessee Titans. And, of course, 25, also the Panthers. So, a very wide range right here. What are the big differences here I see in our rankings? You have the Cowboys up further than me, correct?
Do. Yeah, I have the... So, our difference between our lists, I think the Dolphins are... I think they're a little higher on my list. So, the Cowboys. The Jets are also very close. We're going to get to them here in a second. I think a good way to start this off is by discussing the Saints. I know you're a Tyler Shock guy, so I'll let you kind of begin this one, and then I'll kind of give you my reasoning. I'm a little surprised you're at 32, to be honest with you. I thought you'd have them a little higher.
Of course. So Tyler Shock will be the best quarterback in the NFL. But no, on serious terms, I do like Tyler Shock. I think he's a cool quarterback. I don't have respect for the Saints organization. I just don't think the plan they're putting together is going to work. They keep mortgaging older players for the future. They just won't tank. And maybe they are tanking this year, in my opinion. I think it's time. I think they want one of these quarterbacks in 2026. I think Arch will go in 27. He could go in 26, though. You can get Arch. You can get a Cade Klubnik. You can get a Sellers. There's some really good QBs out there. And overall, I don't think the direction the Saints are going is going to work. And I don't think a quarterback, it has never worked this way, Metro. A quarterback 99% of the time cannot save a franchise no matter who they are. A Heisman, it doesn't matter. It's a situation the quarterback steps into. They can't do it all by themselves. And I don't see them changing the Saints overnight. The only thing I love the Saints, what they're doing, they got a great right tackle in Fuaka, is how you say it, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Great right tackle and now a great left tackle in Banks. That's awesome. The rest, I see a lot of question marks. What do you have to say about the Saints?
Yeah, I just think their roster is pretty... It's okay. It's not bad by any means. Offensive line, I feel good about your tackles. Receiving core, if they stay healthy, you feel good about, but they're just consistently injured. Alvin Kamara, of course. Defensively, you just don't really have much of a pass rush right now, and your secondary is a little bit, questionable, a little bit young. And the big thing for me is just without Derek Carr, this team just looks really bleak, frankly. I mean, you have Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shock. We'll see if one of those guys can step up. They're going to need one of those guys to step up if they actually want to become some sort of serious playoff contender. But I feel like they're a ways away from actually getting there. And frankly, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I kind of think that this team, new head coach, new quarterback, we'll see if it sticks. They could be in a situation where they are just such a bad team next year that they end up just going all in on a quarterback. And frankly, I think this team is really a really good quarterback away from being back in like a playoff spot, but I'm not a big believer in Tyler Shock. I'm also concerned about the health status of this team in general because it's just a really injury-prone roster with Chris Olave, Tyler Shock, 3 season-ending injuries, Rashid Shaheed, constantly injured too. So, I think that you could bribe me into maybe moving them up the list, but it's tough. It's tough.
It is. I completely agree. Do you want to talk about anything else for the Saints?
No, we're good with the Saints. We'll talk about the Browns now because I have them last and you have them 30th. So,
yeah, go ahead. You kick off this one because I started with the Saints.
Yeah, for me, the Browns just as a roster, I think defensively they'll be fine. It's
That's
just
right.
The quarterback position is really it's going to eat up the entire offseason, frankly. I mean, the question of, is it going to be Shador? Is it going to be Flacco? Is it going to be Pickett? Is it going to be Dylan Gabriel? Like, that's going to be the headline stories for the entire offseason. The good thing for the Browns is I think their running back core is actually kind of nice now. Ford, Judkins, and Sampson. Receiving core wise, it's not the greatest, but at least you have Jerry Jeudy, of course, David Njoku, and Harold Fannin now in 12 personnel. Offensive line is old and it's not very good. I really worry about that unit. Although you did bring in Tevin Jenkins, we'll see if he can stay healthy. Defensively, if you expect Emerson to step back into a bigger role and kind of play like his usual self, I think you can expect the defense to be good, or at least top 15, maybe top 10. It's just the quarterback play is a massive question mark. And if it's Shador, I worry about the offensive line. I worry about the receiving core. If it's same thing with Dylan Gabriel in a lot of ways. If it's Flacco, he's 40 years old. There's a very, limited ceiling there. And for Kenny Pickett, he's a backup quarterback and he shouldn't be a starter. So it's they had a weird draft too, where it's like some of the picks were good, but the quarterbacks was bizarre and they were just so up and down. I can't really trust this team. I love the coaching staff, so I think they'll outperform my power rankings, but it's really hard to quantify them moving up this list, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. Like Kevin Stefanski, I think he is kind of trapped with a front office that just won't allow him to flourish, and I think he's going to see that here pretty quickly. I think he's a good coach, like you said. Just when you have 5 quarterbacks in the room that can start and you can't surround him with talent, Quinshon Judkins helps a lot. Like, that will take some pressure off the quarterback, don't get me wrong, but it can't solve all their problems. So I liked Mason Graham. I liked Carson a little bit, but the draft's not moving the needle. Their moves aren't moving the needle in the offseason. So I have no way to expect anything's going to change.
Yeah, something you'll probably see within our list is the teams with questionable quarterback play are typically going to be very low in power rankings, and that's kind of the case here. I mean, Browns, questionable quarterback play. Saints, questionable. Titans, not so much for my end, but I think that's more of a talent discrepancy. Just a lot of teams in the bottom 8, teams that we know probably won't make the playoffs, they got a lot of questions with quarterback play. So for the Browns, they might have the biggest question mark as to who their starting quarterback's going to be. So I think that's a good way to kind of stop that there. Do you want to briefly cover the Titans? Because I think it's pretty clear why they're here. I'll let you go because you're at 26 and I have them at 30. So.
Yeah, Titans, I believe in Cam Ward. I believe in the future. This is just a pretty bare-bones roster, just to say it. Like, he will go as far as Cam Ward can carry them in year one, and I think the ceiling is like 24th place out of the league, which is honestly pretty awesome if he's doing that by himself. And then the floor is they're picking back in the top 3. So this is a gap year, right? You're bridging to the next year so they can build that team they really want. I'll let you speak to this as well.
Yeah, this is the second year into a rebuild now. Cam Ward steps in. I don't feel great about the running backs. I mean, Pollard showed some glimpses, but just not a consistent running back threat. Receiving core, it's just Ridley and a 40-year-old Tyler Lockett. We'll see what you can get out of Manor and DK. We'll see if they could do anything. Offensive line looks, at least on paper, improved, but we'll have to wait and see, especially with J.C. Latham moving to right tackle. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Defensively, I like some of the personnel. It's just, I don't know who's going to get to the quarterback. The pass rushes are very, I don't know. I mean, what you're getting out of Jeffrey Simmons, I just don't know. And then secondary, you're hoping L'Jarius Sneed can kind of come back to form because he didn't look that great last year. And just in totality, the defense it's missing a lot of spots. So it's year one. You're building a roster. This is just one step in the right direction. I think next year you take the next step, and hopefully in year 3 of Cam Ward, you're trying to make a playoff spot and really make a push for a championship after a few years. But for now, they're heading in the right direction. I think they'll be a competitive team. It's just, it's just a bare bones roster right now that Cam Ward, in a lot of ways, is going to have to try to carry to some victories. So,
sounds good. I think the next team we should talk about is probably the Colts because you have them at 25 and I have them at 29. The Colts, a team, man, they show something every single year, but it's all kind of falling on the shoulders of AR. Because I'm going to be honest, Danny Dimes isn't going to do it. I think Danny has something left in the tank as a backup quarterback, but he's not stepping into that roster, in that starting role and doing his thing. If AR steps up, this is a much higher ranking than it is right now. I have him all the way down at 29. I'm just not an AR guy. I understand the skills he has. I can see it. I'm not blind. I just don't think it's going to get put together, and that locker room's already kind of shaky. Tyler Warren's a sick pickup. Let's see what happens. But you have him at 25. What do you think about the Colts?
Yeah, I'm kind of almost exactly with you. This team either sinks or swims with Anthony Richardson. If AR is good, then cool, this team might be a playoff team, like a low-key, sneaky playoff team. But with AR being such a questionable player right now, it's just really hard to imagine this team being great next year. But it's a pretty dang good roster. I mean, you still have a solid offensive line. You have some weapons in the receiving core. You bring in Tyler Warren to finally give this team a tight end. Defensively, there's some good pieces here. You brought in Ward and Bynum in the offseason. So, yeah, I'm kind of with you. This is a team that if AR is great, shoot, they're top 15. If he's not great, they're 25th. And right now, with everything that we've seen, it's really hard to project him to be anything good. So we have him a little bit lower, or this team generally a little bit lower. But again, they sink or swim with Anthony Richardson.
Totally. Next team, you couldn't have said that better. Next team has got to be the Panthers, right? Because I have them at 25. You have them at 26. I'll let you speak to them first because I went first on the Colts.
Yeah, in a lot of similar ways with Anthony Richardson, you can kind of say the same thing with Bryce Young. This team is improving, like, really quickly. It's becoming a really well-put-together roster. They've had another really solid offseason. I believe in the coaching staff. Defensively, they're still not going to be great, but there is some good names now, and you're developing some more players. So you're hoping with some improvements, with Nick Scorton maybe making some plays and some of your second-round, third-round guys stepping up, that this defense can go from potentially bottom into, like, I don't know, a top 25 defense, top 20, and I think they'll take that. So for this team, if Bryce Young is great, then I think they have a legit chance to win 8-9 games. But if Bryce Young, is just kind of what he was prior to the late stretch of last year, then this team is probably going to be looking for a top pick. So I think it's now or never for Bryce Young in a lot of ways. I know you spent the number one pick on him. You don't want to give up on him, but last year there was a lot of good glimpses, but you've also seen the good and bad with Bryce. And if you get more of the good, then great. But if you get more of the bad, then, yeah, I mean, you're not going to be a very good team. This team is not good enough to carry average to bad quarterback play. And so for this roster, if you want to be anything relevant, you got to get good quarterback play. So for this team, Bryce Young is kind of the Anthony Richardson. You either sink or swim with him.
Quick question on AR. Do you think this is make or break year?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to clarify.
Even like if Bryce Young sucks this year, I could still understand giving him one more just hoorah, see if he can put it all together.
You should.
I don't know if I can do it with Anthony, man. Like, he's just, especially if he gets hurt again. Like, if he gets hurt again, I know that's unfair to him because he can't help it, but you just can't have a quarterback that's constantly injured. And it sucks because I feel like I haven't really seen him play that much.
He's never gotten a chance fully.
No, he never has, and so it's weird to kind of say that it's maybe a make or break year for him. But if I'm a Colts fan, if I'm a Colts, coaching staff or whatever, this roster's ready to win now, and they can't wait no longer. And the coaching staff is going to get fired if they can't put something together here. So, in some ways, I think it is, even though it feels a little unfair to say that because we knew he was a developmental piece. It's just it's hard to develop when you're constantly hurt. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
This is true. The world is unfair. I wish it was more fair to AR. I hope he does succeed. Like, I'm rooting for this
sure.
dude.
He was my when did he come out? 2022, 23?
That sounds right.
Yeah, whenever he came out, I was a big time believer in him. Just because I was like, man, if he goes to the Colts, like he can become Jalen Hurts 2.0. And I think we've seen glimpses of it. It's just it hasn't been consistent. And I think that there is a world where this does work out, but I think there's also a world where it doesn't work out. And some of that's injury related, and some of that's just him not playing up to expectations. So it's either going to be a great story or a bad story. That's all I know.
Totally. Rooting for him, man. I hope he does well.
Me too. Do you want to move on to the next 8? Because I think we've talked about all of our same teams. Any team that we missed, by the way, we'll get to once we get to it.
That's right.
We'll get to every single team.
Can I say one quick thing on the Panthers?
Go for it.
The Panthers, strangely, and this is the team they traded with for Bryce Young, of course, and sent all those picks away. They feel like on a similar path as the Bears. So the Bears, like a year ago, were like, oh, man, like this is it. Here we come. We got our weapons. And then it's like, oh, you need more than weapons to actually be a good football team. You need an O-line. You need the trenches. They're establishing their roster. They're just taking the next step. Now, realistically, you're probably going to pick top 10 again. But shit, you see the Bears, what they just did? Like, this stuff works out. Another offseason goes by, and if you build correctly, it's going to work out really well for your team. So I like the track they're on, and they kind of feels like they're like the Bears' shadow in my eyes. Because they sent all those picks away, right? But they got their guy 1 year behind, and I hope it comes together.
Yeah, I can kind of see that, except for this Panthers team, it's defensively more so than the offensive line for the Bears. But I could definitely see your point where it's like, man, this roster is really not bad when you look at it on paper, especially offensively. It's actually really solid. It just kind of comes down to the quarterback play and can they continue to put together good off seasons like they did this year? And I think they did a good job last year. So they still have a lot of work to do, but I definitely think they're heading in the right direction.
Love to see it. On the come up. Next, let's talk about our second wave of 8 teams. So we got 17 to 24. Not quite making the playoffs, but right in the shadow of it. Metro, you go through yours real quick.
Yeah, I think a lot of these teams for me they're hit or miss. They're either going to be really good or really bad. So we'll get through them. 24, Miami Dolphins. 23, New York Jets. 22, Seattle Seahawks. 21, Pittsburgh Steelers. 20, Las Vegas Raiders. 19, San Francisco 49ers. 18, Atlanta Falcons. And 17, the Chicago Bears.
Very nice. At 24, I have the Jaguars. 23, the Giants. 22, the 49ers. 21, the Patriots. 20, the Seahawks. 19, the Texans. 18, the Vikings. And 17, the Falcons.
Ooh, let's talk about the Giants because I have them at 29. You have them at 23, and I can understand why. I think where we disagree might be on the quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And I don't think Dart is the prophecy. I think this team on defense, specifically the defensive line, is going to do some absolute damage. And I had to bet on, because the Eagles are going to be awesome. Not to spoil that. We know that for sure. The Eagles are going to be awesome again, and the Commanders are definitely on the uptrend. So somebody has to lose in the division, and the Giants are coaching for their job. History tells us the Giants are going to be bad. Let's just be honest. But I'm willing to go against history just because I really liked their draft. I thought they killed it. So did the Cowboys, can't lie. But I do have the Cowboys at 27. I just think the Giants are going to win, maybe steal a game on the road, steal a game at home, and just beat them out in that division just slightly. Still could get fired, I think, if you're 23rd in the league, but I think they're going to go down fighting.
Yeah, this is a good roster. I mean, point blank simple. They've done a really nice job of putting things together. There's still some holes. Tight end feels a little weak. We'll see what you get from Deontay Banks. It's kind of just up in the air right now. But just, I mean, outside of that, it's pretty nice. Tyrone Tracy, Scotabo, Singletary, receiving core is the same as last year. I still think maybe I'd like to see like one more weapon on the outside. I think like a really good tight end would really solidify this offense. Mm-hmm. The interior of your offensive line is still a bit of a question mark for me. We'll see if Marcus and Bao can actually make a mark there. But man, it's hard to deny this defense. I mean, I feel like for this defense, if they don't get let down by their offense like they did last year, this can be a pretty good defense, especially if Deontay Banks can put things together. There's depth in this unit now. There's playmakers in this unit. There's Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Dexter Lawrence. Good luck covering those guys. That's just ridiculous. I think for me, I just have a hard time with Russell Wilson or Jameis or Jackson Dart. I think what I think is going to happen, and it could be completely right or completely wrong. I think we get through 10 weeks of the season with either Russ or Jameis, depending on injuries, probably Russell Wilson. I think they'll be a fine team, like 4-6, 5-5, 3-7, somewhere along those lines. And then I think the coaching staff's going to be like, hey, pressure's on, dude. We got to win now. We got to start winning some games or we might get fired. And if it's week 10, they bench Russell Wilson, they throw in Jackson Dart. I don't know what you're getting from Jackson Dart. I'm not a big Jackson Dart believer. I think that he needs a lot of development. And I'm a little concerned that this is a spot for him where he's going to have to play early. And I don't think he should be playing early. Now, granted, I do like Brian Dable a lot. I think he's a good coach. I think he actually is a great spot for Dart to learn under, or Dart to learn under Brian Dable. It's just, man, I have a big-time concern for that. But again, I mean, man, if they figure out the quarterback spot, dude, I hate to admit it, but they very well could be better than Dallas Cowboys. Because I think roster-wise, I know Dallas killed the draft, but Dallas is kind of an injury-prone roster. But I think roster-wise, it's right there with Dallas. I don't know if it's better quite yet, but it's right there with them. So I am at 29 just because I'm just so concerned about quarterback play this year and that bringing them down. But this is another one of those teams where it's like if they get that quarterback position figured out, if they get a nasty tight end and like one more good guard, hey, watch out, dog, because that's going to be good.
That's exactly
they're going to be a playoff contender every single year, especially if Dart does work out. So I say we move on quickly to the Dolphins because you have them at 31. I have them at 24. I'm assuming yours is because of Tua's injury history.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not banking. I will never bet on someone to get injured, right?
Yeah,
but
for sure.
there's always a chance this happens, and I don't think the Dolphins improved a lot.
no.
I didn't like their draft. I didn't think the offseason was that great. And Tyreek I feel like every other week he doesn't want to be there, and that's just a bad recipe for the locker room. When your stars don't want to be there, that's a sign of a bad team and a sinking ship. And I like the coach Mike McDaniel, dude. He's fun. Like, I watched the Hard Knocks. I had a good time, and he's a cool dude. But I don't see it working out.
Yeah, this is a bad. I don't want to say bad. It's just not a very good roster. Very older team with underperforming players. Ramsey wants to leave now, so
Exactly.
I mean, the reason why I have them a little higher is just that if Tua stays healthy, there's a legit ceiling that this offense can get to that is just nasty. And
He can play, dude.
with Hill, A-Chain, Wright, obviously Tua and Jalen Waddle, like that's just a really good set of weapons to work with. And even though the offensive line's bad, they clearly know how to work even with a poor offensive line. And it's not a horrible offensive line. It's not good, but you're hoping Jonah Savaianea can actually make a role on this. You're hoping Patrick Paul plays nice this year. So you're banking on a lot of young players stepping up, but the defense is depleted, to say the least. Like, your front seven, you just don't really have a consistent pass rusher except for Chop Robinson. And if Phillips can stay healthy, okay, we'll see. Bradley Chubb, I don't know anymore. But your secondary's weak. Safeties are really bad. If you do lose Ramsey, your corners suck. I mean, Kader Kaho is showing some flashes, Storm Duck as well. But yeah, it's the only thing for me that keeps them kind of afloat is McDaniel, Tua, and Tyreek Hill. I mean, if they can get those guys going, they'll put up points. It just comes down to, can they actually stop someone, and can they keep Tua upright? So I'm going to bank on them to score a lot of points and just kind of pull off a couple wins because of that. But I don't see this team being a playoff contender, which is funny to say because, like, a year and a half, 2 years ago, we're talking potential championships or potential deep playoff runs, and they haven't done anything. So
No, it is completely 180.
do you want to, let's see, have we talked about the Jaguars yet?
No, we have not.
Okay, because I think we both have, like, a little faith in them. We just don't want to, like, give them too much of our faith quite yet. That's kind of how my thought process was. Like, I want to
root for him.
I'm like at 18, 19, 20. I'm like, man, I could see the Jaguars going here, but I can't buy into it quite yet. So I just have to, like, keep putting them down the board until I felt like, okay, I could feel confident with them here. But why do you have the Jaguars at 24?
Jags are exciting, young. They just got Hunter. What a great move. They're just not there yet. And I don't see them beating teams like the Vikings, the Texans, the Seahawks. You get it. And even the Patriots, in my opinion. That's kind of a hot take, which we'll talk about here soon. I just think those rosters are better, more complete. Jaguars are on their way, just not today. Hold on for another year, kind of similar to the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. They need at least one more year of influx of talent. There is a nice, like, base of good pieces that I feel good about. Trevor, I like Bashal Tutin, Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter. Your tackles, I mean, they're young, like especially Anton Harrison, we'll see. But you have Patrick McCarry. Defensively, there's a lot of, Josh Hines-Allen, Eric Armstead, Trayvon Walker you feel good about. I thought they had an okay draft with some good pieces. Obviously, bringing in Travis Hunter is the big ticket, both a corner and receiver. We'll see exactly which one he plays more. For me, I do think that there is a limited ceiling with this roster just because they're lacking a lot of pieces. Like, I think they need another outside corner. I know they brought in Caleb Bransall, but I think he's a bit more of a slot/nickel. We'll see if he can play outside or even safety. I think they need another defensive tackle. And then offensive line-wise, I still feel a little questionable about it. So this team kind of rides on Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor plays great, then okay, we'll see what they can do. But until I see Trevor put together a nice season, I'm a little questionable on it. I will say I do believe in Liam Cohen, though. So I do think they're heading in the right direction. It's just, let's give it a year or two, and I think we can revisit them to potentially be up the board a lot more.
Couldn't have said it better, brother.
Do you want to, I mean, we could just keep going up your list here, go to the 49ers here, because you have the Niners at 22. I have them at 19. I feel like it's a pretty basic answer here.
Yeah, Niners feel like 2 years ago they were on top of the world. They got all their superstars in their prime. They're firing on all cylinders. And then now you still got Purdy who can play. But, I mean, Deebo Samuel's gone. I'm not saying he was an X-factor wide receiver, but at one point he was that guy. This has changed. He got older, so he got shipped off. And the team's just getting older, man. That's what it is. Like, they were in their prime, they were in their window, and this is what it looks like when you're falling out of your window. It's okay. It's part of growth. It's healthy aging. They just got to rebound and come back in a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm with you. The offensive line, very okay. There's some good pieces there. Trent Williams, we'll see if he plays at all, like if he was able to actually go, because he's what, almost 40 and had a lot of injuries last year.
That's right.
Receiving core-wise, I like Juwan Jennings. I like Brandon Ayuk. We'll see if they can stay healthy and whatnot. McCaffrey's the big question mark. If McCaffrey's healthy, then sweet. He's a great player, but what does he look like? I mean, he was out the majority of last year. And then I think for Brock Purdy, there's a lot of question marks with how he can perform without all these stars being in their prime, like they were just 2 years ago. And then defensively, why I like the Michael Williams pick, just a lot of question marks. Or interior defensive line, who plays opposite of Fred Warner, and then Malik Mustafa just tore his ACL, so that's a big part of your secondary. So you're lacking an outside corner. You're lacking now a safety. You're going to probably start Richie Grant or Jason Pinnock, and I don't know. It's still a good roster with plenty of star power, like Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Brock Purdy, Kittle. Those are all stars. It's just that it's kind of like where the Cowboys have been the past few years, where they have all these stars but not the supplementary players to play next to them. It's kind of what it feels like here with the Niners, where they're still going to win a lot of games just based off pure star power, but they're also going to lose a lot of games because they don't have the depth or a certain piece here and there that's going to keep them from winning. So, yeah, with age comes unfortunate losses, but they'll rebound at some point, especially.
They will.
Especially if Brock Purdy doesn't take a massive contract, which they haven't paid him yet, to my understanding, which that's going to cost a lot of money. And if I'm Brock Purdy, by the way, I'm nickel and diming them to death. I've been getting paid scraps. I'm getting every single dollar from them.
I completely agree, brother. And it also, I never want to see somebody not get paid, because I do want to see them get paid. But is there an argument here, Metro, for the 49ers? Do you pay Brock Purdy? I think anytime you have a quarterback, you should hold on to him. But this is a rare situation where the roster is aging. If you pay Brock to be in the middle, the most valuable thing in NFL football is a great quarterback on a rookie contract. Do you move on, let him go, and start fresh and just embrace the tank? What do you think?
I would pay him, but with the caveat that I think I would be more interested in getting off of McCaffrey and Trent Williams while they still have any sort of value to them. I don't know what you can get for them, but I mean, I could think of a team, let's say like, I don't know, the Cowboys, for example. I know you don't want to trade them to a rival, but the Cowboys are trying to contend. I guess you can also say other teams out there, but I just think of the Cowboys when it comes to my mind. If you say, hey, we'll give you Christian McCaffrey and you give us like a third-round pick, the Cowboys could be in a situation where they say, you know what, if it might be worth it, and we do it. And there's a lot of teams that might consider it. Same with like a Trent Williams or any of these aging veterans that are still good players, but there's just a lot of question marks surrounding them. So I would pay Purdy. I would have a pretty hard limit of like 45. I don't think I'd pay him 50 or 60.
I think he's going to rinse him, like you said. So I don't know how. Yeah. He deserved, dude, he was not a high draft pick. Mm-hmm. He deserves his bag.
Mr. Irrelevant, I believe.
Correct. Exactly.
So yeah,
correct.
He didn't get paid that much. He's in the, hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's still doing good, but like he ain't doing Dak Prescott 60 mil type good, especially in California with how expensive things are there. He wasn't making that much, and this team was going to Super Bowl, so he deserves it.
I completely agree, brother.
Let's talk about the. Go ahead.
I was going to say the Patriots.
Yep, me too. I'll let you talk about it because you're very high on them, and I definitely can see why. They killed this draft.
Yeah, man. Patriots are at 21 and on my list, and then for you, they're at 28. So about a seven ranking difference. Nothing crazy. But the Patriots, man, I love Vrabel. The dude just wins, and that's the big kicker for me. And then the draft. I think they knocked it out the park. I'll just mention a few names real quick. I'll keep it brief. Will Campbell, help Drake May. Henderson also helped him. Kyle Williams, very interesting, fun pick. And then Jared Wilson. So you got a center, you got a left tackle, you got another receiving weapon, you got an edge rusher in Braden Swinson in the 5th round. Dude, they killed this draft. I'm a huge fan of it. Yes, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but damn it, if they're like in the running, if they start hot and they're like, I don't know, 7-3, I'm not surprised. I would completely get it. Vrabel wins, and he's got more pieces than he had last year, or he never had the team last year, but they got more pieces than they had last year, and I think they're really going to roll this year.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's just a winner. I mean, he took those Titans teams to deep playoff runs, and frankly, those teams, while talented, had really no business being there. This team's going to be good. I think there'll be some growing pains with this roster, especially with Drake May. Just he's still developing. He needs a little more time, but man, this team's nice. I mean, running back core is now looking sharp. Receiving core looks a lot better. And it's funny because, like, into the offseason and with free agency, we were like, man, it's a good roster, but they're still missing offensive linemen. They're still missing receivers. And then they just said, all right, hold my beer. We'll get Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams, Jared Wilson, Will Campbell. Was like, all right, hey. They kind of cooked a little bit. They kind of did pretty nice. We'll see what Will Campbell plays, whether it's guard or tackle. I think that is a bit of a storyline the Patriots fans should follow, because I think if Campbell plays tackle, that's really good news for them.
It is.
But if he plays guard, he'll be a good guard. It's just going to be a little disappointing because you want him to play tackle. I still think this team might need another pass rusher, but I mean, you look up and down this roster, it's a damn good roster. I just think there's going to be some growing pains early on that could limit them. But, I mean, one more great offseason or just good offseason, I mean, it's kind of a theme of these past couple teams we talked about, but one good offseason, this team is not far away from being a dang good roster.
Totally. And this team, above all, that we just talked about, we talked about the Jags needing a step. We talked about the Panthers needing a step. The Titans need a step, but I feel like they're farther behind the 8 ball than those two teams.
I agree.
Man, the Patriots, it's playoffs 2026. I think they're coming for sure. I think they're going to roll once they get their pieces.
It's Patriots, the Panthers, and then I'm probably looking at like the Jaguars. And I'm saying, for me, I have Panthers, Jaguars, Patriots in like that exact order. Patriots are of the three the lowest just because Drake May is the youngest and has a lot more growth to do. Whereas for Bryce, he's already kind of went through some growth. For Trevor, he's already established. So that kind of quantifies that. I guess we can talk about teams that are now fully in this chunk here. Seattle is 20 for you, 22 for me, so we see them pretty closely. What's your reasoning there?
Yeah, Seahawks, I like them. I think they're good. I just don't think they're a powerhouse. I think they're going to be pretty stable. Pete Carroll's not there. It's not the same team. Pete Carroll's a great coach. Yes, he's older. The dude wins games. Maybe not Vrabel type, because I think Vrabel's stronger than he is. I think Pete maybe loses a step, but Pete was that guy. Anyways, Seahawks, dude, I just think they're right. I'm going to make it one sentence. The Seahawks are okay. And it's okay to be just okay, but I don't think they're winning or going to the playoffs. That's just my opinion.
I think they had a crazy offseason.
They did.
Getting off of Geno for Sam, getting off of DK for Cooper Kupp. I like what they're building. I do think that they need another year, not necessarily of development, but just another year of adding pieces to this roster, because I think they need more answers right now. Right now, they have a lot of pieces that I think you want to have faith in, but they just need more time to kind of see things out. For example, like Abraham Lucas, can he have a full healthy season? Reek Woolen, I suppose. Can he play a consistent year? What are we going to get from Byron Murphy? Is this receiving core of Kupp and JSN going to work out? So I think they need to answer a lot of questions. And so if those questions end up working out where Lucas plays good and is healthy, if Reek Woolen plays good and is healthy, and if Kupp and JSN have a good connection and there's a really nice, unique receiving core and receiving scheme, then this thing could really be nice. But it just kind of comes down to, can things go their way? If things do go their way, if Darnold plays well, if everything kind of comes nicely together, then this team could be a playoff contender. But for myself, kind of like what you said, if this team doesn't come together, then I could definitely see a world where they're just an okay team next year.
Totally. And then just to harp on that, lots of injury concerns for some of these players. Like, some players aren't injury prone. I think injury prone isn't really a thing, but sometimes it is. Kenneth Walker, I love him. Played with him at Michigan State. He's a badass running back, but he gets injured a lot. Cooper Kupp, we know for sure that guy does have the label of injury prone. I don't see him staying healthy. It just doesn't happen. MVS doesn't move the needle for me. And then Darnold, I think Darnold had an excellent year last year, and I was extremely impressed, to the point where I'm thinking, do the Vikings just re-sign him? That's not normal to play that well on a team, and then you just ship off your quarterback. When you find gold and you strike, you keep him on the squad. But they did send him away. It's just not guaranteed that Sam's going to succeed again. I'm rooting for Sam. I like when quarterbacks have comeback stories, but this is a different system. This is a different coach. You had a great system over there in Minnesota, a very quarterback-friendly system. Let's see what happens if these injuries go right and people stay healthy. And some of these really high upside picks, like Royce Abel's going to hit. He's going to be a good player. Elijah Arroyo, if he breaks out, he do a great job. If you have Nicky Manwari really develop in the first year, that could be really big for your defense. Injuries and high upside draft picks, that's the path to success to have the Seahawks make the playoffs. I'm not going to bet with that. I'm going to bet against it, bet going on the history.
Yeah, that's fair. There's just a lot of question marks with this team, and there are some that I feel like are safe bets, but there's also a lot that, like you said, Sam Darnold, he could be really good or really bad. Health-wise, it could be great or it could be bad. And so these are all things that we just don't have the answer to right now until we actually see it on the field. So for now, I'm going to stay a little bit conservative here because I'm just kind of basing it off of history that they haven't been able to fully answer all those questions. So until they get those answers set, I'll be a little bit more pessimistic on them. I think our next team that we have in the same area – is that the Falcons? I think you're a little higher on the Raiders
you're right.
and Steelers.
Yeah, because the next two are hidden that we can talk about later, so it is going to be the Falcons.
Okay,
Do you want to kick us off on the Falcons?
Yeah, Falcons is – man, I really want to believe in this roster. I really do. I'm a big Michael Penix Jr. guy. Admittedly speaking, he was one of my top quarterbacks when he did come out. Wasn't my highest, obviously, but I definitely did believe in him. I thought it was crazy to take him with Kirk Cousins already in the roster, but clearly it kind of worked out. It just kind of comes down to if James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker work out, I think it completely changes the dynamic of this roster because I think offensively they're going to be a good team. I just feel very confident saying that. I do have a question mark with their center, but Michael Penix Jr. showed a lot of good glimpses. Bijan, Tyler Algier, some good receivers. I feel like they're going to be a good team offensively. It just kind of comes down to can they get good production out of their pass rushers? If they get good pass rush play, if they're good against the run. You also lost a lot of pieces as well. So, yeah, I mean, if they can answer the bell on the defensive side of things, this team's going to be good. I just have a lot of faith in this offense to keep them in games. And, I mean, so far, everything has looked good with Michael Penix and with Bijan. It just kind of comes down to they need that big breakout year. I really want to believe in their head coach. I think this could be the year where things kind of come together and they can go from 8 wins to, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 wins next year and kind of get back into that playoff position.
Totally. Couldn't have said it better, man. The Falcons have a pretty damn good roster, like you mentioned. If Penix is just an average quarterback, I think they land right here at 17. If he takes a step, you're moving into playoffs. You're moving into a playoff range, especially with now 7 teams on each side of the conferences. I like this a lot. James Pierce Jr., I love his talent. Okay, this guy can rush the hell out of the pass. And then also, Jalen Walker is a great pass rusher. It's going to be third down hell for whoever's facing the Falcons. I like this roster. I think they had a really good draft. Let's see what happens. But 17 is a very respectable spot where I have them, and then you have them right next to me at 18. Mm-hmm. So let's see what happens for the Falcons.
Sweet. I guess we can move on to the next little bunch here, 16-9. I've gone the first two. Do you want to go?
I would love to. At 16, I have the Steelers. At 15, I have the Bengals. 14, the Raiders. 13, the Cardinals. 12, the Broncos. 11, the Bears, 10, the Packers, and then 9, the Bucks.
Sweet. All right, at 16, I have the Bengals. 15, I have the Dallas Cowboys. 14, Minnesota Vikings. 13, Houston Texans. 12, Arizona Cardinals. 11, Denver Broncos. 10, the Green Bay Packers. And number 9, the LA Chargers. So let's do the Cowboys conversation because you have them way lower than I do. You have them at 27. I have them at 15.
Talk to me, Metro. Metro, I want you to look me in the eyes. And I mean, like, I hope you feel the tension here, but I want you to look me in the eyes and convince me the Cowboys are going to be 15th in the league. They didn't change. They didn't get better. They got a worse head coach. I don't like the front office with Jerry Jones, and I'm also kind of a hater on the Cowboys when I shouldn't be because I'm from around the area. I don't think they got better in any way, shape, or form. Now, I will tell you, they had a badass draft class. I don't think that hits immediately. I think it's kind of a year 2 thing, and I hope you understand where I'm coming from there. If we're going draft class, they get an A+. If we're going team, I think they're a year out from those picks hitting.
Okay. I have 3 reasons why the Dallas Cowboys are going to be great next year.
Hit me.
Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. That's all I got to say.
Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott was I never understood the Dak Prescott hate. He's a top 10 quarterback. I will live and die on that hill. He got injured last year. The team around him was not very good. CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion, is the 3rd or 4th best receiver in the league. And then Micah Parsons is probably the 3rd or maybe 2nd best pass rusher in the league. So when you have that level of star power, and I think they did a decent job of improving the roster around them, especially with the draft, I think this team should be good. I feel like a lot of the issues with this team last year was injuries. I mean, just smothered with them. Micah Parsons missed a lot. Dak missed a lot. CD was banged up. They had no ground game. The offensive line, I mean, you just couldn't trust them to stay healthy. And then defensively, it was just, I mean, we were starting practice squad players for half the season. I mean, it was ridiculous. This year, though, while they're still dealing with the DeMarvin Overshown injury, the team right now looks healthy heading into the season. You get a healthy Dak Prescott, who's lost a little bit of some weight, put on some muscle. CeeDee Lamb continues to be great. I feel really good about this running back group after the draft with Javonte, Jaden Blue. I shouldn't say really good. I feel better. I don't feel great.
This man said really good that said Javonte, and I like Javonte.
Lay back down here. I was like, Javonte, I'm going to chill out here. But I see the vision here where I say, okay, Javonte Williams could do some things. Jaden Blue is a burner, just an absolute burner. And then Phil Maffa, I do think will have a role on this team. I still question who's going to be that second receiver next to CeeDee Lamb. I've heard some rumors about George Pickens. Hey, now, I don't like the guy, but I like the player. I'll be down for that. I've heard Cortland Sutton. I'm totally game for that one. We'll see. I think they'll have a new wide receiver, too, at some point. At least I'm hoping, because Jalen Tolbert's not going to get the job done. I know Cooper's still available in free agency, so at least I think. Maybe that could be the answer there. But you have great tight end play in Ferguson. You have your front five really set in stone. Tyler Guyton at probably left tackle. Tyler Smith the star. Cooper Beebe in the center. Booker, probably your right guard. We'll see how he looks, but I feel good about that. And Terrence Steele. Defensively, admittedly speaking, I think there are some holes, but Dante Fowler had 10 sacks last year. Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. Osa Digizua is a stud. You've brought in a bunch of dudes now in the defensive tackle room to where we'll see if Mozzie Smith can pan out, but there's a lot of other bodies there now. Kenneth Murray, Jack Sanborn. You're hoping DeMarvin Overshown can play. Also, Morris Leofau. And then your cornerback room. If healthy, Diggs, Bland, Ravel, and then your two safeties in Wilson and Hooker. So I just think if this team can stay healthy, while I don't love the coaching decision, I thought it was a very, very Jerry Jones-like decision to stick with somebody who's already in the room. I didn't like it, and I can definitely see why you have him at 27. I just look at this roster and I say there's just too much talent to be bad. Even if coaching might hold them back, which I don't think it will. I have some faith. Everything that I've heard and seen, it seems like the coaching is going to be okay next year. We'll see if it's good. I don't know if it'll be anything special, but we'll see. I just have faith in Dak, CD, an improved ground game, an improved offensive line, and then, of course, defensively, you got Micah and some playmakers in the secondary to make some plays. So I think they'll be back in playoff contention. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll at least be back in contention.
I totally respect that, man. They do have some firepower, and like those 3 stars are hard to beat. What it came down to, as this is going to age like milk, so make sure you're recording. What it came down to is when the Giants and their roster, I think, is actually really respectful, like we mentioned, and their coach in Dable is coaching for his job. Can they beat out the Cowboys that just feel like they're floating in space? I don't feel like they have an identity or a purpose right now. Like the coaching hire just came out of nowhere. But we can't change that, right? All we do is go out there and win today. They have a good roster. I agree. It's respectable. I just think fire under the ass of the Giants. Somebody's got to come in last in this division. I'll take the Cowboys when your job's on the line.
Let me say this. Dak Prescott's 33-8 versus the NFC East. 12-2 against the Giants, 11-2 against the Commanders.
I did not know that stat.
9-4 against the Eagles. Just saying, he knows how to beat the NFC East. So when it comes down to it, I do think the Commanders are better, at least just because of how good Jaden Daniels is. I mean, he kind of carries that team in a lot of ways. I think the Giants have a chance to be better. It just comes down to can Dart be anything relevant. So, but I'm going to plant my flag here. I think the Cowboys are a team. Yeah, I think the Cowboys are a team that can be competitive next year. Maybe not win it all, but competitive at least.
Super Bowl. Is that what you said, Metro?
Hey, what can I say? It's our year.
We're so back. The Cowboys are coming on top.
We are back. Okay, let's get back into some other teams here. We took a little bit of time there, so we can real quickly. Pittsburgh. I feel like it just is like who's going to play quarterback for them.
Dude, I know they're going to win 9 games. They're just going to.
Even if it's like, I don't know, who's our quarterback? Mason Rudolph. They'll win 9 games with Mason Rudolph, but if Aaron Rodgers is there, I think there's a legit ceiling to be a good roster. But I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't know. And frankly, I don't know about you, but I kind of would like to see Will Howard play there for a little bit. I mean,
I would too.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like, do you really want to run the Aaron Rodgers experiment when I just feel like just go all in on a quarterback next year? like just trade the entire house for Arch or whoever comes out next year. Like that, literally, that's what I would do because this roster can win. It's a dang good roster. It's just
It is.
who's the quarterback? Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson. Like, what are we doing here? Got to figure this one out, guys.
Man, they're just going to come back and be 9. They're going to have a 9-win team. They just always do. And if they win 9 games with Mason Rudolph, Mike Tomlin should coach that team till the day he decides he doesn't want to coach football for the rest of his life because he's just such a damn good coach.
That's fair. Yep, he could just win. And it's funny because they always are calling for his job, but I'm like, dude, he's doing this with Kenny Pickett as his quarterback. What are we doing here?
I think the frustration for them is like,
I get it. I understand it.
They're just in a state of mediocrity. Like forever. Remember when the Cowboys were like 8-8 for like 4 years straight?
Yeah.
And like, did you like that more or did you like this more?
I hated everything about it, but I like this a lot more than that. I'd rather be bad than like really like mediocre. Like when you're a team that's just stuck at 8-9 or 9-8 every single year, it's like, dude, I'd rather just be 1-16. Like honestly, I'd rather get the number 1 pick than consistently have the 15th. Like the Steelers are just, man, we dog on them. It's them and the Saints. Every time we get to them, we just dog on them. But it's just
Every
like
time.
It's so easy to talk about it with them because it's just like, you got to figure out your quarterback. You got to figure out your roster. You got to build into a right direction. And for the Steelers, they're just not there yet. And we'll see if Rodgers comes in or not. To be honest with you, even if Rodgers does come in, I don't know if I move them up or down much. Maybe I move them up like 2 spots, but they're, I don't know, a fringe playoff team. Will be out in 1 or 2 rounds. So, yeah, it's just that's where they're at right now until they can get a young quarterback. And I mean, they still have some question marks on the roster. It's not a complete roster, but.
Yeah, nothing's perfect there, but they just win football games. The question, if, let's say, Saints, right, you're like, Saints are kind of in that same world of mediocrity. We're both agreeing they're going to absolutely be ass this year. But they did get their quarterback in Tyler Shock, who I know you don't love. I'm kind of a fan. I don't know if you should pick him at 9 in the second round. But anywho, if Shock goes to the Steelers, do we feel different about this today?
In terms of, like, their ranking for the Steelers?
Yeah, yes.
That's a great question. I would feel okay if Shock could stay healthy. I'd feel okay about it.
Let's say he plays 14 games a season.
I'll take that. Okay, I'll move them up from 21 to 19. I'd move them up 2 spots.
Okay. So one more win essentially.
If even that, they might win the exact same amount. I don't know. I just feel like they'll be a little bit better because I mean. Ooh, anything's kind of better than Mason Rudolph. And that's why we're like, hey, maybe Will Howard can do something. Your 6th-round quarterback.
I think he would actually do really well.
I think he's a decent scheme fit. I think he could do a lot of things there. It's a decent roster around him.
The next Tom Brady?
Hey, well, when was Brady taken? 6th round?
Pretty sure. He wasn't 7th. He was 6th.
I think they for sure did that on purpose. They are trying to create the greatest story ever. The Ohio State guy going to Pittsburgh, 6th round. He leads the team out of mediocrity to a singular playoff win. That's the story.
One playoff win, and they're back in Cabo the next week, baby.
I would be if I was them. Frankly, I'm kind of like that with the Cowboys. The Cowboys get to the what is it, the NFC Championship game? Oh, dude, win or lose, I'm chilling. That's all I want.
You're good to go.
Okay, let's move on to the Raiders because you have them at 14. I have them at 20, so not too far apart. I can definitely see why. Roster's pretty nice. Do you want to start this or do you want me to start it?
Yeah, Raiders, they get Pete Carroll, they get Geno Smith, and they just kind of reincarnated the Seahawks, I'm not going to lie to you. And then they go get Gentry. Mm-hmm. Man, their D-line's pretty nice. This team definitely has holes. I just think, and this is the entire mission statement of the Seahawks, they are going to run Ash and Gentry into the
Raiders.
dirt until... What?
You said Seahawks.
Oh, sorry. I see Pete and I see Seahawks. That's my bad, brother. The Raiders are going to run Gentry into the dirt until they get 9 wins. I don't care how many carries it takes. That's what they're going to do. And you took him at 6. What do you expect? And he's a great running back. And just for that alone, I believe in Gentry, and I think they pull out just the amount of wins to sneak into that last seed.
Yeah, I can totally see it. I think they've put together a nice team. It's last year they weren't too far apart, honestly. They were not a terribly bad roster. It's a lot of good pieces. You get your quarterback in Geno, you get your running back in Gentry. Like those are 2 really nice fixes. I still think you need receiving core help. Jack Betch, I like that pick. If I'm Jack, I'm talking to Geno Smith every single day, becoming his best friend, learning his tendencies. I mean, Brock Bowers is a superstar. Offensive line, not too much upgrades, but you did draft Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant. We'll see if they can do much this year, especially Charles Grant, because DJ Glaze is kind of a questionable starting tackle. We'll see, though. And then you're really missing a true CB1. We'll see if Darian Porter can become that for this team, but it's a decent roster. I mean, if they stay healthy with the new coaching staff, with a new quarterback, with a new running back, they'll be better. And this was a team last year that was not very good, won 4 games. I think that they are, at their worst, an 8-win team, but at their best, I think they'll make the playoffs. So, yeah, I kind of have them towards like the middle at 20, where I'm like, kind of iffy on it. I feel a bit more confident with other teams, more so than the Raiders, but I can definitely see a path for the Raiders.
Totally. And then if you're good there's a team I'm actually itching to talk about if it's okay with you.
Go for it. Which one?
The Houston Texans. I have them at 19, and you have them at 13. Nothing crazy, but that's pretty much playoffs or no playoffs. What is your analysis on the Houston Texans?
Man, it's funny how the league goes. The Texans 2 years ago were the hot shot team that we all felt was going to win a championship any year now. But now I'm not out on them completely, but I'm just not as confident as I was like 2 years ago. Not because they've done a terrible job of building a roster, but they've gotten a little bit unlucky, and they haven't been able to develop the offensive line like I'd want them to. Defensively, this is a good defense. It's going to be a top defense next year. I feel very confident about that. Stroud took a bit of a step back last year. You're hoping he can kind of, improve. It's okay. He had an okay year last year. You want to see him take back those nice steps forward. For me, it's just, this offensive line, man. It's very questionable. I don't really know where to start with it. I mean, Trent Brown starting still is questionable. Cam Robinson, okay. I don't know who plays guards. I think it'll probably be maybe Ursery and Howard, or maybe it's Scruggs. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. And then Jarrett Patterson at center. It's just it's an okay offensive line. It's better than it was like 3 weeks ago, prior or right after they traded Laremy Tunsil. I guess that was a bit more than 3 weeks ago. But the reason why I have them at 13 is because I believe in the defense. I believe in Stroud. I believe in D'Amico. But this offensive line is going to hold them back again, which is like the 3rd year in a row now. So I don't think they've really seriously addressed it. But I mean, I like the Nolan Higgins pick. I think they're going to be playmakers for this team. And it's just, I feel like that's the one unit on this roster that's going to hold them back. And it might just be the most important unit. So I think they'll be a good team. The fortunate news for them is that their entire division is rebuilding. So they're kind of in a state where it's either them or the Colts. And we'll see what Cam Ward can do. We'll see what Trevor can do. But the Texans probably feel pretty confident they'll win the division, even if the offensive line is mediocre to bad.
I mean, shit, when you put it like that, I absolutely, I have no choice but to rank them higher. I currently have them, I'm blind. I have
19.
them lower.
I mean, I definitely
19.
can see where you're at. I mean, Vikings, Falcons, Steelers, they all have good players. I mean, their offensive line is just really weak.
That's what it is. Like, if you go cons, O-line. We talked about that. Very cons. The drafts, we already talked about this too. I think the pick and Higgins and Noel are like,
Cool.
It's dessert before your meal. And I think you absolutely have to protect your quarterback. Stroud isn't going to just take a step forward again with this O-line. Just my personal opinion. I think it's going to go down to year 4, and they're going to be like, okay, is Stroud the guy? Do we pay him? But you kind of got to pay him, or he's going to cost a boatload of money. I think they're going to put themselves in a really bad position. If the O-line outperforms, this is a playoff team without a doubt. Come completely with you there, Metro.
Yeah, it's O-line or bust for this team. And I think they did a decent job of kind of last minute putting things together.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what they did. I mean, they got rid of Tunsil, which, I don't know. I get it. I understand he's not the vet you want in the locker room. That's he's not C.J. Stroud or Will Anderson or anything like that in terms of being leaders. But, man, when your offensive line was already bad, getting rid of the one offensive lineman that's pretty good is just a weird decision for me. And then to replace him with Cam Robinson, who I think is a fine tackle, but he's a little bit older, inconsistent. And then Trent Brown is also older. Trent Brown is 32 years old, and I don't know if I want him starting at this point, but you might have to. Now, we'll see. I think if Ursery can come in and be a contributor, I'll feel a little bit better about this team because he'll lock down one spot, and We'll see about Blake Fisher, and Titus Howard will start probably, but I don't know. I just don't feel confident about it, especially when you compare it to other offensive lines. This
That's
one
right.
looks like a very weak offensive line compared to the rest. So
Totally right.
it'll hold them back.
Yeah, it's a weird thing in the NFL. Like, you look at a roster and you're like, oh, they're okay. But in reality, you're either awesome or you're not good. And I think that's really, I think it's one of like the weirdest perspective things when you review a team. And that's like something I've tried to like configure my brain. You're like, oh, this can hold what's going to come our way. If it doesn't feel good, it's usually not going to work. So that's just kind of where I landed. But man, Texans, guys, you have a bright future. You have your quarterback. You have a defense coming into final form. There are good things to look forward to. It may just take 1 year longer than you expected.
Yep. Do you want to move on quickly to the Cardinals? Because I think we have them, what do you have them at? 13. I have them at 12. So I thought I was high on him, but I think we're both right there with each other in a lot of ways. I'll let you kind of lead the pack with that one.
Yeah, man. Cardinals, you got your man in Kyler and MHJ. I think they take a step this year, and that is the foundation of everything. I like Paris Johnson Jr. as well. I think they could do some great things. And then overall, this team was, they were 10-7 last year, right?
They were 8-9 last year, but they were in a lot of games last year. They just kind of some close calls. So
totally, man. This team was on the verge of being really special, and you add Walter Nolan to this interior defense, great move, and you get Will Johnson. If that knee is good to go, honestly, the knee thing is like a long-term draft pick question. He's going to be good to go for year one. I'm not concerned about this whatsoever. Will Johnson, Walter Nolan is an immediate upgrade to your defense, and then I think their offense develops over time. That's kind of where I have them. And with the 49ers going down, somebody's got to come up, and that's going to be the Cardinals for me.
Yeah, the last year, the thing that held the Cardinals back from really being an okay roster or being a better team was the defensive line, and they overhauled it completely. I mean, Josh Sweat, Walter Nolan, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Jordan Birch. I mean, you just overhauled it completely. And a lot of these overhaul players are really good. Calais Campbell, he might be a fossil at this point, but he had 5 sacks last year, 35 solo tackles. Like, he still is balling. Dalvin Tomlinson, he might be a little bit older, 31, but he still can play. And then Walter Nolan is your young guy who can bring you some juice. So I just look at this roster, and sure, they can use a guard maybe on the offense, maybe another receiver, maybe like a more dominant receiver too. And then you're hoping Will Johnson can step up into a big role this year. But, man, it's a really good roster. They really fixed up a lot of their issues from last year in the defensive line, the front seven. And I just don't see a lot of holes. And I do expect that jump from Marvin Harrison Jr. And if we expect Kyler Murray to be healthy next year, then I don't really see a way this team doesn't take a big step forward. And this is already a team that was like super competitive last year. A lot of these games that they lost were super close games. Week 1 versus the Buffalo, 34-28, they could have won it. Week 3, Detroit, 2013. Later in the season, they had a 1-point loss to Minnesota. They had a 12-point loss to Seattle. You can win that game. You know, you lose to the Panthers late. You lose to the Rams late. Like, these are winnable games that, man, I think in 2025, they win a lot of these games. So for a team last year that was pretty dang good, I see them getting better, and I think they are going to be a team that shocks a lot of people. I would not be surprised if they are first or second in the NFC West. I would put my money on the Rams, which we'll talk about here in a second, but the Cardinals are right there, and I think they're a dang good team. The Cardinals are like what the Panthers should be next year. The Cardinals are like what the Jaguars and Patriots are going to be next year. So it took a little bit longer for the Cardinals to get to this point, but they're now at a spot where their roster is really complete. It just needs like 1 or 2 more pieces, and it feels like they're really good right now.
Couldn't have said it better, man. Do you want to pivot to the Broncos, who we have like pretty much flip-flops? I have at 12, you have at 11.
Yeah, I'll let you take on the Broncos since I took on the Cardinals.
Yeah, man. Sean Payton, hell of a coach. You got to give it to him. I'm not a huge fan of him, but the dude just wins, and you got to hand it to him. Bo Nix took a really good step in his rookie year. The defense was disgusting, and they just got Jahdae Barron, and it's going to remain really, really good. They also got a tight end, correct? Who'd they grab? They grabbed Evan Ingram, who's going to help them a lot. I think this team is just going to win some more games. Are they Super Bowl contenders? No, I have them right at 12, right outside of that, but they are on the verge, in my opinion, a player or two away from really being a dark horse for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the way I look at it is they made the playoffs last year. I feel like they've gotten pretty significantly better in a lot of ways. Offensive line is super good. They didn't really do much in adding weapons to their team, but you bring in RJ Harvey, you bring in Evan Ingram, you hope Devon Vele can continue to step forward. I still would have liked to have seen like one more difference maker in this offense, but man, their defense is just filthy. It is just filthy, dude. I mean, they have pass rushers for days. They added Savion Jones. They have great linebacker play. Their secondary. Their one weakness to me was their second cornerback, which was Riley Moss. But you got Jaquan McMillan, Jade Barrett, and Pat Surtain. Talanoa Hufanga comes in. PJ Locke as your backup. Like, they are deep and they are good. And that defense is going to carry this team through a lot of wins next year. And as long as Bo Nix doesn't make mistakes and plays a little bit better than what he did last year, this team is very likely going to make the playoffs. Only reason why I have them at 11 is just that there's a lot of good teams that I just think are going to be better. But the Broncos are one of those teams that they may not be as good talent-wise, but they just find ways to win. And they are a team that I think can make a decent playoff run this year, so I feel pretty good about them.
Awesome. Would you like to pivot to the Green Bay Packers?
Yes. Frankly, the Packers are just such a bizarre team that I'll let you handle them and put the pressure on you to talk about the Packers, because they're one of those teams that, like, okay, I look at the roster and I'm like, yeah, this team can win a championship, but I just know they're not going to. It's really weird. I hate to put it like that, but it's just really weird.
The Packers are loaded with talent, historically a winning franchise with LaFleur, and Love has turned into a pretty damn good quarterback. When you combine all those things and you get another weapon in Matthew Golden, who can maybe be your wide receiver one finally and break out and make this team truly elite, I think you have to bet on that upside. With all that being said, I have them ranked where they always pretty much belong, right at 10. We actually both had them at 10. 10 for Metro, 10 for me as well. I think their ceiling is more like 6 or 5. I think their floor is 12. This team's going to be damn good this year. It's just how high did they go?
Yeah, I think offensively they'll put up numbers. I love the Matthew Golden pick. Their offensive line, they've been so busy in fixing up this offensive line that was already pretty good. Like They were like, hey, we're going to add Aaron Banks on this massive deal, and then Anthony Belton, and then Jordan Morgan. It was like, okay, I feel like we're just spending picks on unnecessary needs, but I guess. But Matthew Golden should be their wide receiver one. Josh Jacobs is awesome. You're hoping for Marshawn Lloyd to have a bigger role next year. They didn't really do much in terms of a pass rusher or cornerback, but if they can stay healthy with Jair Alexander, and if Lucas Van Ness can just get like 6-7 sacks, then Rashawn Gary really return to form. This team's going to be good. It's just there's a clear ceiling here for me, which is probably NFC Championship game, and that's probably the farthest they'll go. So I had a really tough time moving them up my board just simply because of that.
Like, I know the Eagles are winning that game. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they could beat the Lions because they're individual rivals. They know each other very well. Eagles are winning that game. I have the Commanders winning that game. I even have the Rams winning that game. So I agree with you. Their ceiling is probably right around where we have them.
Yeah, if they get a good path in the playoffs where they get
That's
some
right.
easier matchups early on and they can really build up to it, I could see them making that run. But it's just like you mentioned, I just think there's other teams that are just slightly better than them. I mean, the good news, though, for the Packers and their fans is that they're a young team, so they have a lot of cracks at this. And so it's not like they have to win now. Like the Eagles' window is right now. The Rams' window is definitely right now. The Packers, though, they're in a situation where they can say, we got a young quarterback. Nobody really on our roster is extremely old. And the ones that maybe are a little bit older, we can replace them, like Kenny Clark or Jair Alexander. So they're in a good spot. I wouldn't be too worried if I was a Packers fan, but I would want to see a bit more of a sense of urgency from this roster and from the organization in general to really put the final pieces to actually make those deep playoff runs, because they're really close, and I think they'll be back in the playoffs this year. They just have to kind of put it all together this year, or I should say in the coming years.
Totally. When we're talking NFC North, do you mind if I pivot to the Vikings, who I have at 18 and you have at 14?
Yeah, good call. I was just going to completely skip them.
I just want to jump back to them. The Vikings, guys, this is what it comes down to. You have Sam Darnold, who has an electric year. JJ steps up. Yep. What does he do? Who is he as a quarterback? And how well does he play? that is where the Vikings go. This is a damn good team. We know that. I just, realistically, if it's a rookie, I think there's going to be more growing pains than we really expect. And for that, I have them at 18. I imagine that's why you have them capped here at 14-2, Metro. But, of course, want to hear your thoughts.
Yep, it's sink or swim with JJ. And it's just really hard to bank on what's going to be essentially a rookie quarterback right now. I mean, this is a super talented roster, great offensive line, much improved offensive line at that. I do have some concerns with the secondary because they don't have a long-term answer at safety behind Harrison Smith, who's going to be back this year. But I look at the secondary, I just think they need a cornerback one. And I know you brought in Isaiah Rodgers. I know you have faith in Mekhi Blackman and Ambry Thomas and Byron Murphy. But I would like to see like one more corner. But I have faith in their coaching staff to get the job done. For me, it just simply came down to, can I trust J.J. McCarthy for a full season run? And that's kind of it. Like, once you knew that Darnold was good, you can kind of trust him. I have to see it with my eyes with J.J. McCarthy first. If I see week 1 of the NFL season and J.J. McCarthy goes out there, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, I'm like, okay, yeah, this team is a playoff contender. But until I see it with my eyes, I have to be a bit more pessimistic. And that's kind of it for the Vikings. Lastly, do you want to just briefly cover the Bengals? Because I think that's our last one here before we get to our top 8.
Yeah, can the Bengals play defense? And that's how far they go.
Yep, they are an offensive juggernaut with offensive pieces for days. Can they play defense?
This is a 7-on-7 team, guys. I have it 15, and the Metro has them 16. That's if they can play. If they are the 20th defense overall, they will be in the playoffs. If they are bottom 5, then no.
Yep. I mean, that just tells you how damn good Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is.
That's
where
right.
It's like those two players by themselves are carrying the carcass of the Bengals, dude. Like, this roster, it's not a terrible roster. There's some good names, but man, whew, you're praying to God Shamar Stewart's good. You're hoping.
The worst landing spot in my eyes. Like, you talk about no time to develop. You just get thrown in the fire. Hey, buddy, if you sacked the quarterback before, no, you have to now or your job's gone. Like, I hate the landing. I feel bad for him almost. But, yeah, Bengals are a mess.
Yeah, and then their offensive line's still very questionable. I think they did a decent job. I like Dylan Fairchild, so we'll see what he can do. But if you're starting Cody Ford again, if you're starting Ted Karras and Cordell Volson again, it's just not very strong.
I will say, Bengals fans, you will have lots of fun playing Madden with your team.
Hell yeah. Dude. I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, it's like the most fun team ever. This is a Madden team in a lot of ways. Who cares about O-linemen? Who cares about defense?
It's all make-believe.
You have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
It literally tells you how good those two players are. When we have them 15 and 16, and we're just saying, yeah, they're this good because of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That's literally
That's it. That's literally it.
I mean, Trey Hendrickson's cool. Obviously, we'll see if he stays. And there's some good pieces here. I don't want to discount all the guys.
Yeah.
But it's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like, they carry this team. This team goes as they go. I mean, this team was scoring 40 points a game at certain points and still losing. Like, that can't happen.
That's insane. That's college.
I know you brought in a new defensive coordinator. Let's see if he can make the plays. I know you have some faith in Josh Newton, who showed flashes. You have some pieces on the defense, but man, I don't want to say it's now or never for this defense, but it feels like it's time to start putting it together because you're just wasting the prime of like 3, I guess really 2, just incredible all-time players in Chase and Burrow and Higgins. We'll throw them in there.
I love it. Let's see what happens. Looking forward to it, Bengals. I think it's time, based on our list, to go to our final 8 teams. And then, Metro, would you like me to kick this off?
Yes, go ahead.
I have all these teams in the final 8 as Super Bowl contenders. Let's talk about them now. At 8, I have the Chiefs. 7, I have the Rams. 6, I have the Chargers, unfamiliar name. 5, I have the Bills. 4, I have the Commanders. 3, the Lions. 2, the Eagles. And then 1, the Ravens.
Fair list. At 8, I have the Bucks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 7, I have the Washington Commanders. 6, LA Rams. 5, Baltimore Ravens. 4, Buffalo Bills. 3, the Chiefs. 2, the Detroit Lions. And 1, the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think every single name here is the same, except you have the Chargers in and I don't, and I have the Bucks in and you don't. So
Chargers, Bears, Bucks. Yes, sir.
Yeah, real quickly, let's just cover the Chargers real quick.
Totally. And before we do the Chargers, guys, we love making content on this channel for y'all, but we actually both make our own content as well. Metro gives you great NFL analysis content on his channel, Metro Sports, in the description below. Go check it out and subscribe. And I make NFL draft content year-round as well, Cade Rathbone. Go check it out in the description as well. Thank you guys for checking it out. We appreciate you more than you know. Now, let's go into this team. You said Chargers, correct?
Yes, real quickly.
Yeah, man, Jim Harbaugh. That's my title. Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. They just go to Marion Hampton. Now, Metro, we kind of had like a kind of a disagreement. We see a lot of things eye to eye. I really liked this draft. Okay, I think Marion Hampton was a slam dunk home run pick, and I think they're gonna run the hell out of him like they did with Genty. And they now have a pretty good old line. Yes, it's not perfect, but you got Joe Alt. You have your quarterback Trey Harris. If he steps up, now we're cooking with gas. This team can be really good. How high do they go? I think they have I have them at their ceiling, man. 6 is their ceiling, and I know that. I'm just excited about the team. I think realistically their floor is about 16, but this is going to be a really good competitive team. How high do they go? Can they make a real playoff run?
Yeah, this is going to be a physical, running, hard-nosed team. They didn't get a tight end, at least a serious one. Will Disley, Tyler Conklin. I think they'll run some 12 personnel, and I think Conklin is probably the better of the two, but we'll see. I think Will Disley has a better connection with Herbert already. Herbert's a great quarterback. There's constant debate about whether Herbert's good or not. He's a good quarterback. Let's just stop it. He's good. Man, your running back duo of Hampton and Najee should be nasty, especially when Hampton takes over full time. He's a perfect fit for this scheme, by the way. McConkey, great player. QJ, honestly, QJ's not that bad. I know he gets a lot of criticism, but the dude had 700 yards last year. Like, he's not a bum.
It's a good year.
So, yeah, it's not a bad year at all. And I think, he was a developmental piece, so let's give him some more time. I want to see him really take a step forward this year. If he can get to like 900 to 1,000, all right, cool. We're cooking now. And then Trey Harris is I like Trey. I like the fit here because he kind of does what this team needs to do. A downfield stretcher, can win 50-50 balls. There was times where Jackson Dart was throwing up double coverage bombs to Trey Harris, and he was coming down with them a lot of times. So he's going to probably have to do that here with the Chargers because he's the one guy on this roster, maybe outside of Jalen Reagor, who can really stretch the field vertically because you're not getting that much with Vlad. You can a little bit. QJ, you can, but he's not going to win a lot of those. He's just not a 50-50 ball winner. So Trey Harris is going to be asked to do a lot of that. I feel great about your offensive line. The only question mark I have is Bradley Bozeman, a little bit older, 30. We'll see if he continues to play. Defensively, I like a lot of the pieces. I think the secondary played great last year. I love their defensive coordinator. I think they need another pass rusher. I like the Kyle Kennard pick. We'll see if he can develop, but I just worry about Khalil Mack at his age. How old is he now? 34. Last year, only 7 or 6 sacks. He still was a productive player, still played good, but would like to see another pass rusher put on this team. So for me, I just feel like there's a lot of talent here. They'll be in the playoffs. They'll be competitive. I just think more than realistically, this is a team that needs another wave and influx of talent and just another year with Harbaugh until I think they can really start to make those championship runs. So I think they'll be a playoff team. I think they might win a playoff game or two, but I don't think they'll be a championship contender quite yet.
Couldn't have said it better. Do you want to pivot to the Bucks or the Bears?
Where do you have the Bears at?
I have the Bears at 11, very high. I have them as Super Bowl dark horses, and then you have them at 17, so we have a disconnect there.
We should have talked about them earlier. Let's go and get the Bears. I don't know why I skipped the Bears there. Let's go with the Bears.
Oh, no worries. No, you can skip them. We both skipped them. It's all good.
Yeah,
they were going to come down to
Bears.
Here. The Bears. So the Bears, man, I have them ranked higher, so I guess I'll talk about them first. The Bears have built a really good roster, but we all know this. They shored up the O-line, protecting Caleb Williams because, guys, that thing was a tinfoil house on the interior O-line. Every time Caleb tried to step up in the pocket, he could just not do it. And then now they drafted like it was a 7-on-7 team because they can. They've earned the right to. You get Colston Loveland. You get Luther Burden. They had a really fun draft. Caleb, Metro, 0, not 1, not 2, 0 excuses. He doesn't have to be a top 10 quarterback, but man, you can't start like he did last year. It's sophomore time. It's time to do your thing in the league. You got all the weapons. You got a great O-line. Let's kick some ass. I think the Bears take the next step. Their defense is already fine, and I think they get better as well. This secondary is looking disgusting. I like what they have going on. The NFC North just continues to be a powerhouse like it was last year. And every time I put the Bears above the Vikings, I swear to God I do this every single year. I put them above the Vikings in the rankings, and then the Vikings have 15 wins. It just happens every single year. So I'm going to be wrong here, but I'm going out on a limb and saying the Bears finally make the playoffs and win a game and put some fear into some of these really good teams in the NFC.
Yeah, I'm just being a little bit conservative on the Bears here because, admittedly speaking, if things go their way, this can be a damn good team. I still think they should have added a pass rusher. I like Dayo Odeyingbo. He doesn't have the productivity quite yet on the field. Only 3 sacks last year. I just want to see another pure pass rusher. But Montez Sweat, I think, is a good player. I just want to see one more pass rusher on this team. But yeah, I'm just being conservative on them just simply because I can't put all my faith in Caleb Williams quite yet, just because he's a young quarterback who needs time to develop. New system as well, so there will be some growing pains. I also don't think they upgraded the running back room. I mean, they did bring in Kyle Monangai. We'll see if he can play a big role. I think he has a chance to potentially carve a little role for himself. But man, their biggest issue last year was offensive line play. They fixed it up in a big way. I just would like to see one more pass rusher before I really commit to this team, and I also just want to see it on the field. I feel like they're one of those teams that pretty consistently every year they have a good offseason, and we're like, hey, watch out for the Bears, and then they underperform. I think that this is the year where I feel the most confident in them because of their offensive line, because of their coach. I just want to be a bit conservative on them now and say I'll put them at 17. They could be really good, or they can just be the Bears, which is it's the Bears. So that's it for the Bears. I guess we can go to the Bucs really quickly. I have them higher, so I guess I'll take the Bucs real quickly.
Go ahead.
This team is just solid in every way, shape, and form. It's a really solid team. Admittedly speaking, did not love their draft. The Emeka Egbuka pick was very questionable. I liked the rest of their draft. They did a good job of David Walker. They brought in Elijah Roberts, Jacob Parrish, a number of other pieces too. I just didn't get the Emeka Egbuka pick, especially when you have Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin. I understand you didn't have much depth there, but spending a first rounder on Emeka just felt a little bit reachy for me in a way where I would have preferred them to take a receiver in round 2 more so than round 1. And Emeka is just so similar to Chris Godwin. I think they just kind of mesh super well together. And look, this offense is going to be hard to stop because Bucky Irving's a stud. Rachaad White can do some of the dirty work. You have 3 great receivers, and Jalen McMillan can also be a good receiver too. Offensive line is pretty solid. Defensively, I would have liked to have seen a better defensive draft. Benjamin Morrison, by the way, did you see the video of him getting drafted? It was
I didn't.
Watch. It's a good watch. I would watch it if I was you.
I'm in.
Very heartfelt because he's just been through a lot. So that was a good watch. But Benjamin Morrison, I really hope he can pan out to be a great quarterback or corner because he's just good kid and a good player as well. Jacob Parrish, you're also hoping. So I think they did a good job in the secondary, especially if Benjamin Morrison can play, but would have liked to have seen a bit more of like a serious pass rusher, and that would have been my round 1 pick. I would have taken Donovan Ezeraku, and then they would have been a much better draft. But heading into next year, there's a lot of really good pieces. I hate to say this because Bucs fans love the guy. I kind of feel like Baker kind of limits this team in some ways. And I feel like
Baker not dangerous?
Dude, I hate to say it because I love Baker, and I think he's really good for this team. It's just like, man, can he win a playoff game against a really good team like the Rams this year, the Lions? Like, I feel like their roster is right there. It's a damn good team. But I don't know if Baker's good enough. And I hate to say it because he's a good quarterback. I mean, he had great numbers last year.
I mean, when Lions made their run a year ago against the Niners and lost in the NFC Championship, when we played the Bucs, man, it was Baker in a 2-minute drill, and I was scared shitless. And yes, I know he threw a pick, but he played phenomenal that entire game. And they're not in it if he's not playing at quarterback. So I understand you. Like, he's not going to be Jaden Daniels, right? He's not going to be Mahomes, but I'll take him at quarterback in the run if I'm a playoff team. So that's just me, but I totally understand your argument.
It's just like for myself, I just have like this really hard time pushing the Bucs agenda of winning a championship Just because I
Question.
don't know if Baker's the guy. Yes.
Really good question. If you're in a playoff run, teams aside, how about you just take quarterbacks actually and plug them into the system? You want Dak or Baker in your playoff run?
Ooh. Gosh. Regular season Dak is different. Playoff Dak's a good quarterback. He gets a lot of criticism, but he just sometimes will fold under pressure.
Like a lawn chair, baby.
That's a great question, man. That Packers game where he threw like the 2 picks, that was rough. But he's had some really good playoff performances. I don't want to just shit on Dak. He's had some really good ones.
I was curious because I know you're like Baker's limiting, and I'm like, well, is Dak limiting? And that's not. I understand Dak's a good quarterback. I was curious what your thoughts were.
Man, I think Dak's the better pure quarterback, but when it comes to playoff time, man, I also don't think Dak's been supported like Baker has. I'll go Baker in just terms of playoff performer because Baker is just cold-blooded, dude. Like he's cold-blooded. I love it too. Dak, he can be. He has these moments of just like that's the guy. He can be the Super Bowl champion, and then he has moments where it's like, Dak, come on, bro. I think in a lot of it's not his fault, but at a certain point you got to put some of the blame on him. You can't be a shill for him. You got to at some point criticize him.
Baker over Dak, you heard it here first. And dude, what you said, like in comparison, Baker almost had everything taken away from him. Remember when he flew out to the Rams on a Thursday night game, started and won the whole thing? Like that was one of the craziest endings I've seen to a regular season game in my entire life. And he's gone from there and built that into a big old contract with a cool team that's going to the playoffs every single year. Hell yeah. If anybody is cold, Baker might be one of the top 3 cold-blooded quarterbacks in the playoffs every single year. So I get your argument there.
Yep. He's just, I mean, nothing will faze him just because, I mean, he was a walk-on at Texas Tech, transferred to Oklahoma, gets to the Browns, a really bad situation, loses the locker room there, has to go to the Rams to save his career. Like, what's a playoff game to him? It's just nothing.
It ain't shit, bro.
Let's pivot to the Rams real quick because you have them at 7, I have them at 6. I'll be honest with you. I'll say it outright. I might be convinced that the Rams might be the best team heading into 2025.
Ooh, okay, break it down for me. That excites me.
If I had a Rams fan who was like super high on them, sit me down and hype me up, I think I could talk myself into it. I still think they're like 2 pieces away, which would be a linebacker and a cornerback 1. But this team was the most competitive team last year with the Eagles. You have Devontae Adams, and this team was at their best when they had an outside receiver, like when Odell Beckham was there. That's exactly what Devontae Adams is going to do. And then Puka will probably do what some of Cooper Kupp does. I think Jordan Whittington will also have a role with this team. Kyron Williams is a freaking dog. Offensive line is stout. It's good. Terrence Ferguson, you're hoping, will play a bit of a bigger role in the tight end room, especially because Higbee a little bit slower because of some injuries. But, man, this is a good team. Defensively, they're stout. They got some big dudes, Byron Young, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner, and, of course, Jared Verse, who's going to take a big step forward next year. The linebacking core, admittedly speaking, especially the inside linebackers, I have some questions on. Hopefully Chris Paul Jr. can step into a role. We'll see. But it's a damn good team, and I'm willing to buy into Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford one more time, especially if this might be their last little run together. If there's a team that can beat a team like the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles, it would be the LA Rams. So I'm buying stock on them. I have them at 6 just because I like to be a bit more conservative with those type of teams, but you could talk me into pushing them up the board here. Not gonna lie, but you can definitely convince me.
Couldn't have said it better, brother. You have him at 6, I have him at 7. 2 things for me, and then we'll keep on moving. The defense. You know that Verse will only get better, and so will Fisk, and they did damage last year. And then 2, the storyline that I find really funny. Matthew Stafford was going against your boy Rodgers for years and years and years, and they just always had our number. I'm a Lions fan. Now Stafford is, yes, he's younger. It's a little bit important here, but Unc over there on the Jets is done, man. Rodgers is trying to get a contract, and no one really wants to sign him. Unc is done. Even Devontae Adams is like, man, he's lost his way. I'm going to go team up with my rival for my whole career in Matthew Stafford. Those 2 are going to be so much fun. Watch them do fireworks, man. Him and Puka are going to do some serious damage. This team, this could be a real Super Bowl team, just like you said.
Yep. It's a dang good team. Do you want to pivot to the Commanders? I have them at 7. You have them at 4. I feel like that's a good pivot point.
Yeah. Totally. Commanders, man. Well, guys, quarterback you got at 2 over. They got 2, right? Yeah, they got him at 2. 2 overall. Jaden Daniels was exceptional last year. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And then you get a guy like Laramie Tutzel to be your left tackle. Hell yeah, brother. You bolster left tackle on a team that was already great. A huge step in the right direction. And then on defense, you got Kinlaw, pretty solid player. And then, of course, you got Goldman as well to stuff up the run. I like what they did on this defense, and I also like what they did with this offense. They got better as a team, and they're going to keep moving forward. Not even to mention Deebo Samuel. Yes, he's not Deebo Samuel 2019. I get that, but he's still offering something to that offense. You gave him more weapons. You gave him a better team. How far do you want to go, Jaden? Make it happen.
Yeah, for me, I want to put them higher on my list. I haven't loved their offseason as much as I was hoping to love it, just because – I don't know if Debo's going to do much for you at this stage of his career. I just don't know. Laramie Tunsil, great pickup. I mean, he's a great left tackle. They did not address the defensive line room as much as I would have liked for them to do so. They did pick up some interior defensive linemen, like you mentioned, with Javon Kinlaw. Just, I don't know how I feel about Dorrance, Deatrice Wise, and Cleveland Farrell being your starting edge players. I mean, I know Luvu can put some pressure on quarterbacks, and that'll be nice. But just in general, it's a good team. I do have concerns about a potential sophomore slump for Jaden, just because a lot of quarterbacks go through it.
This is true.
For Jaden specifically, his play style with how he did things last year, I do worry if it'll translate after a full offseason for defensive coordinators to adjust. I have faith in Jaden because he's just a really good quarterback, a good kid, puts his nose down, works hard. He's just one of those quarterbacks you want to root for. So I think he'll play good. I just kind of think I could imagine a world where the team early on isn't clicking at how you'd want them to. So I could see a world where maybe they start off the season like 5-3 or 4-4 in the first 8 games. I still think they'll make the playoffs. I have them 7 for a reason, so I think they're a good team. I think they'll make the playoffs. I just haven't really loved how they attacked the offseason so far in terms of, yes, Trey Amos, good pickup. I just don't think you got a serious edge rusher right now. And I just don't know what I'm getting from Debo. So, not to mention you didn't really pick up a running back. So I am a little bit lower on them than you, but this was a team last year that made it to NFC Championship game, put up a valiant effort, and that was with probably a worse roster. So there's definitely a world where they take the next step forward. For me, I'm sticking with it here. I'm being a bit conservative on them. I just have to be a little bit weary of a potential slump or a slow start or some of these issues kind of coming back to light. So still a good team. They're, in my opinion, the second best team in the East. Definitely have a shot at it. So where do you want to move to next? I'll let you pick.
I have the Chiefs way lower than you at 8, and you have them at 3. Is that a good place to go?
Yeah, we can move to the Chiefs. I'll let you start off because you're a little bit lower, and then I'll let you know why I have them at 3.
Sounds good. Chiefs are the Chiefs, man. Patrick Mahomes, we know. He's okay. He's an okay quarterback, I guess.
He's all right.
He's all right, I guess. He's going to make the playoffs and go on a run every single year, and typically goes to the Super Bowl, as we know. This roster is good. Sorry, great. They're a damn good roster. I just feel like their focal points are getting older, a.k.a. Travis Kelce. Unky, you are one of the best tight ends in history. I get it, man. But it's okay. I'm rooting for you. Keep doing your thing. But we can all see that this guy's taking a step back, and that's okay. He's just a little bit slower, still doing his thing, still getting open. But he's not the Travis Kelce he was. And when people say his name, they're like, oh, that's top 3 tight end. Guys, I'm going to be real. Like, tides are shifting. This happens to wide receivers too. We hear their name and we kind of get brainwashed, and they're like, oh, these guys are going to be huge impact players. Their impact players are kind of taking a step back, their bread and butter. And if guys like Worthy keep developing, they'll be just fine, okay? If their O-line takes a step up as well, we're feeling good. But that was also an issue in the playoffs last year. And this defense, man, they perform. Overall, this is a really, really good team. I'm trying to find the reason I have them at 8. That's why I'm trying to tell you why I have them lower than Metro. But truth be told, guys, this is a badass team with a badass quarterback. I just think the teams above them have more to offer and are more well-rounded.
Yeah, I want to believe in the Chiefs still, just because Mahomes is Mahomes, Kelce, you still have Andy Reid. I have to be honest and transparent, though. Their roster has taken a step back, especially over the past 2-3 years now. This is not the same roster that they've been pulling out there every single year that has stars after stars and great role players. This is a new team. It's a very different team. and they're going to be relying on a lot of players to step up. Mahomes is still Mahomes. You will see what Pacheco can get. You can get from Pacheco, but they did bring in a running back from SMU that I'm a big fan of. We'll see.
Sweet.
Receiving core, Rashee Rice. If he comes back, Rashee Rice, that's a huge upgrade there. Admittedly speaking, they do lack size, but this is a team that just never has really relied on size. But they got 3 dudes who can just run. And then the offensive line, you brought in Josh Simmons to kind of shore up your left tackle spot. We'll see what happens with Jalen Moore. We'll see what happens with Kingsley. We'll just kind of have to wait that one out. But I think it should be a fine offensive line. For me, I'm a little bit concerned about the defense. Now, great defensive coordinator. He'll get the job done. But I don't feel like they seriously have addressed the edge rushing room opposite of George Karlaftis. I mean, Karlaftis is a great player, had 8 sacks. But you have Amenahu, you have Mike Donna, you have Ashton Galat, how do you say it? And then Felix, one of their first-round picks a few years ago. I just don't know what you're getting from those guys. I mean, obviously Mike Donna can make some plays at 3.5 sacks last year, but just don't know. And then linebacking core, obviously still pretty good. Leo Chanel, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil. Then your secondary, you lose out on Justin Reed. Now you're relying on Jaden Hicks to play a big role, and Brian Cook. In your corners, Christian Fulton, Shamari Connor, Noel Williams, Jalen Watson. Like, those are all guys who got to make big plays next year. And I think they will, admittedly speaking. This is a team that just, whatever changes they make, they typically go well. I don't know if this is going to be the 15-win team like they were last year. I could see a team like Buffalo or Baltimore, potentially replacing them. For myself, I just have a hard time betting against them until I see it on the field, until I see a team go into Kansas City, especially in the playoffs when it matters the most, and beat them. Then I'll wait. Now, granted, maybe Philadelphia laid out the blueprint. We'll see. But the good news for them is I don't know if teams like Baltimore or Buffalo have the same roster as a team like Philadelphia did. So I have faith in Kansas City to keep the ship rolling in the right direction. I don't want to give up on them just because they've lost a lot of pieces. I think they had a good draft, by the way. A lot of really good pieces that should be impact players. So for myself, I'm willing to buy in on the logic of just trust them. And just trust the logo, just trust Mahomes, because it hasn't done anything wrong quite yet. So I'm gonna hold on faith here and just say that I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be winning their division. So yeah,
good stuff. From here, do you want to talk about Bills, Lions, Eagles, or Ravens?
I guess we can go Bills since that's sort of in the middle of both of ours. I think it's a pretty basic answer. It's a very similar team to last year. You bring in Maxwell Hairston. You were great last year. You got, I guess, somewhat better this offseason. Not a lot to talk about with the Bills. They're just a really good team with Josh Allen leading the way. Let me pull up their depth chart here real quick. Just a lot of good pieces. Maxwell Hairston, admittedly speaking, I wasn't the biggest fan of the pick, but I think he does fix a bit of a need for you in that CB2 role next to Benford. Joey Bosa, if healthy, we'll see. And then your 2 suspended boys in Michael Holt and Larry Ogunjobi. I mean, when they're back from suspension, those are impact players. So they've shored up the defensive line. You also bring in TJ and Landon. So your front 7 looks a lot better. You also get Matt Milano healthy. It's just a good roster. Really complete team. I would have liked to have seen maybe another receiver, but they felt okay about their guys. So not much to talk about here. It's a very similar team to what they were last year, especially on offense. It's just defensively, you got more depth. You have more options. That's the core of the story there. So they're a good team. They were a good team last year, won 13 games, made a deep playoff run. They'll probably do the same. Just kind of comes down to can they get over Kansas City, and that's it. And I think they can. It's just they've always been able to. They just haven't. So until we see it on paper, we'll keep waiting.
We're waiting, Bills fans. I know you are too.
And I want them to. Like, I want to see a Buffalo versus Detroit or Buffalo versus whoever, right? Same with Baltimore. I guess we can transition to Baltimore since
would love to.
I have them at 5. You have them at 1. So you think this is the best team?
I think the Baltimore Ravens are the best team out here. They're stacked, man. Offensive line, defensive line. You got, I think, the guy who should have been the MVP last year in Lamar Jackson. He had better stats. Objectively, he was the best quarterback out there. But with that being said, turn the page. He's going to have a great year. He's going to do his thing. They were in the playoffs, and he threw a perfect ball to Andrews. And it just didn't work out. It just did not work out. And that's the thing about football, man. That's the reason football is the best sport, and I'm biased, the best sport out of everything. One play changes the entire season. And yes, other sports are like that, but in basketball, you have 7 games, same things for hockey. Everything comes down to one singular play, 4 seconds. How will your legacy be remembered? They have the power to do it. They have the team, they have the roster, they have the coach. I'm ready to go. This team is going to roll, and I'm ready for them to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a very similar team to what they had last year, plus Malachi Starks, plus Chidobe Awuzie, some pieces in the draft. I think they had a solid draft. I'm a little worried about their interior of the offensive line, losing Patrick McCarry, who's been like a staple of this offensive line for years. That's a big loss, and
It is.
frankly, I just don't know what I'm getting from Rashad Bateman. Like every year, it's like, okay, this is the jump, and then it never happens. But you bring in D-Hop, we'll see what he can do here. Yeah, another year of Lamar and Derek. I mean, just keep running that over and over again until the wheels fall off. That's going to be nasty. You brought in some pieces on the defense, and just it's a good roster. It's a really good team that you expect to be one of the best teams this year. Not to mention, we'll see what happens with Mike Green. If Mike Green is good to go, that could be the steal of the draft. And
That's right.
you now have a legit premier pass rusher off the edge of Mike Green next to Kyle Van Noy and David Ojabo and all those dudes. And then Malachi Starks can provide more versatility on that secondary. So it's a team that was good last year. It's gotten better. And I think it has a really good chance to push a team like Buffalo or Kansas City out of the playoffs. So for me, I have Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens like in the same clump. But you can convince me to move those teams anyway. I just kind of put it in order of who do I trust the most. And I trust Mahomes, Josh Allen, then Lamar. That's in that order. So, pretty fair conversation to have. I mean, it's the same team, but a little bit better, kind of like Buffalo.
Couldn't have said it better, man. Would we like to go to my favorite team, the Detroit Lions?
Yes, we can do the Detroit Lions, and then I think we ended off with the Eagles. I believe that's the last team we haven't talked about.
Perfect. I have the Lions at 3, and you have them at 2. The Detroit Lions. Upgrades, people, upgrades. We sub out Carlton Davis for DJ Reed, a really good pickup in free agency. We draft Tyleik Williams, not a need on our team. Now we have DJ Reader, Tyleik Williams, and Lee McNeil. First down hell for anybody trying to run the ball. I don't know how they're going to make it happen. We don't have a pass rusher that we wanted, okay? We're going to have people step up, or Hush should say get 25 sacks this year. But it's going to be a great defense no matter what. And then, of course, we got our right guard in Tate Ratledge, and even like a third down weapon in Isaiah Tesla. With all this being said, this roster is a step better. So why aren't we one? Why aren't we one, correct? Well, we lost Ben Johnson, and we lost Aaron Glenn. This could be catastrophic to this team. I am a firm believer in Dan Campbell, but guys, you got to understand, a head coach is very morale, rally the troops, let's go. The guys calling the plays, that shit makes a huge, huge difference. Truly, their floor, and I mean this wholeheartedly as a true fan, the floor is barely making the playoffs. This could be a huge hit to this team, and I'm an optimist, dude. You can't lose a guy like Ben Johnson and just expect it's going to be the same. We will take a step back offensively. It's okay. We will take a step back defensively. Aaron Glenn was a really good coordinator. How does it all shake out? How do the new coordinators step in and adjust? Because Ben Johnson was a promotion from our internal staff. Let's see what happens. What do you think about the Lions, Metro?
Yeah, I think this team, if healthy last year, could have beat the Eagles. So The way I stand on it is just stay healthy. Don't have the injury bug kill you like it did last year.
Pain.
And it's a complete roster. There's really not a lot of holes to it. The only hole I'll say is, like you mentioned, I think one more premier pass rusher next to Hutchinson. And that could be a midseason acquisition that they go for. So the way I look at it, it's just a really good team, good offensive line, great running backs, good receivers. I trust Jared Goff. Defensively, there's just not a lot of holes. And DJ Reed is a difference maker. I'd say he's a little bit better than Carlton Davis. So just not a lot of issues with this team. I mean, this was a team that when I was doing mock drafts, I just struggled to figure out what they would want because they're just a good team. And so I was a little surprised they went Tyleik. I would have much preferred a pass rusher there, especially because Tyleik, you aren't going to get much from him as a pass rusher. He's more of just a straight-up run defender, but there's a lot of good pieces here, and it's just there's a lot of things you can do. One more pass rusher on this team, and I think they'll be my favorite. I do agree, though. Losing Ben Johnson, losing Aaron Glenn sucks. Hopefully the replacements are good enough. And I think that I believe they've been like working with these guys kind of knowing that this was going to happen. So I'm sure they feel good about where they're at. So I'm not going to be too concerned about it, but I kind of agree with you. There's a chance that it does end up kind of costing them. And By cost them, maybe that puts them, a little bit more down my board, but I feel good about them. And real quick, we can talk about the Eagles. They're number 1 on mine. They're number 2 on yours. Now, admittedly speaking, they lost a lot of pieces. But it's the Eagles. They just.
They just have so many young players that always emerge because that's what the draft's for, man. You stack this roster. It's kind of how Bama played football in their prime, man. A guy gets hurt, the guy on the bench is a 5-star recruit, so we're not worried whatsoever. I think that's how the Eagles go, and that's how they win so much.
Yep, that's a good way to put it. They're the Alabama of the NFL. They just stack talent. It's almost impossible to beat this team when they have Hurts and Saquon going to go along with AJ and Devontae. Again, I think they took a step back, but that tells you how talented they are when they're still my number 1 team. Like they lost their right guard. I can't remember his name right now. I think Mekhi Becton's his name.
That's right.
And you lose Josh Sweat, you lose Milton Williams, you lose Darius Slay. But then it's like, okay, next man up. You lose those guys, but at right guard you have Tyler Steen or Kenyon Green. We'll see, right? You lose those guys, you got Moro Jomo, you got Nolan Smith, Jalex Hunt. We'll see which one can kind of make it out there. Not to mention you also brought in Azeez Ojulari and Bryce Huff you still have. And then you expect Quinion Mitchell to take a big step forward. I love the Makuba pick. I think he could be a starter for this team. And Keely Ringo's going to play a bigger role here, and Cooper DeJean a bigger role. So, admittedly speaking, they might have a slower start than what you might think, but this team is it's well coached. Yes, you lose Kellen Moore, but I don't think Kellen Moore was the difference between this team winning a Super Bowl or not. I think they would have won it with any offensive coordinator. That's just how good they were. Any competent offensive coordinator, I should say. So I feel confident with this team. I feel like they're just really well put together. The coaching staff understands what they're best at. They don't try to change Jalen Hurts, which you don't want to do, and they just have a good roster. So until I see a team put this Eagles team in their place, I just feel really confident that they have stars all over the place and great depth and great players everywhere. So it's a good team, and they just know how to draft. And I didn't even mention Jahad Campbell, who was like a top 10 player for me. Tells you how good they are.
That's right. Dude, they're just loaded with talent. And what last thing before we say all the remaining closures, what is the Super Bowl you want this year, Metro?
As a Cowboys fan or just in general?
Just in general. Like based off our list, like guys like in the top 10, what would you want the Super Bowl to be?
Well, as a Cowboys fan, obviously I want the Cowboys in there, but if I'm going like what's a realistic Super Bowl that I want?
Yes.
Man, I would love to see Detroit versus Baltimore. I think that's the one I want. But it would be like Detroit or the LA Rams, one of those two teams, and then Baltimore or Buffalo. Just one of those two teams I'd love to see. All those teams can run the football well. They got great quarterback play, lots of storylines. You know what I want to see? Let's just, for fun. NFC Championship game, Lions-Rams. AFC Championship game, Bills-Ravens. Just cinema. Just let
so
that's
good.
That's just like ideal because you're getting out of the Chiefs area. No more Eagles. 4 new teams. I mean, the only team that would kind of be a repeat would be the Rams because they won it a few years ago, but I don't care. Bring it back. That was a cool, fun Super Bowl when they had the Bengals and Rams. It was so fun and unique. I kind of want that again. I feel like we need that. No more Chiefs. No more Eagles. We got our fill in last year. Let's get something fun this year. Let's get a little bit more diversity with these teams.
Let's change it up. And then you said Ravens and the Lions. That's my favorite, but my honorable mention, like you had one, would probably be the Chargers and the Rams. The Battle of LA, I think, would be super fun.
That'd be kind of cool. It would be very, I think it'd be very Ram heavy, but that could be a lot of good storylines there with both 2 LA teams. Herbert versus Stafford, Harbaugh versus McVay.
It'd be sweet, cool. Dude. It would be sweet. Anything else for today, Metro? We want to get us out of here.
Let's get us out of here.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. What would you change? What rankings do you think are ridiculous? What do you think are too low? What do you think are too high? Drop it in the comments below. If y'all enjoyed this video, we had a blast making it. Please drop a like because it helps us out a bunch. Thank you very much. And then, guys, if you love the NFL draft, you love NFL content, and if you love college football, we do it all, man. We're bringing you a ton of content this summer. We're going to be doing videos every single Monday and Thursday. There's no football on. The draft is over. We have to wait till kickoff. Stick with us all summer long. We're going to bring you awesome content, fun new ideas. You'll see what we're talking about here pretty soon. Go subscribe down below for that awesome content throughout the summer. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you more than you know. Have the best day. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.